I think you are still muted. Prakanshu, is there any technical error from her side?
Uh,
Uh,
uh, uh, I-
Yeah.
I think there is some issue in the sound. We cannot hear you clearly.
I think there's some network error. Can you try again?
Hello, am I
Yeah, it's
audible?
fine now.
Yes, yes, it's fine.
There was
I
something
think.
with the connection. So, hi, I'm Neha, and I'll give a short introduction about myself, and then I'll jump to the question answers that I got. And as I answer those question and answers, I'll tell more about my experience. And if you have any other questions, then you can post them in the chat, and I'll take them up at the end. So, I graduated IIT Bhilai in 2020. My discipline was CSE, and I worked as an intern at Robert Bosch in my third year. I got a PPO as a result of internship, and after graduation, the joining got extended due to COVID by 6 months. So I worked as a data science intern in Valiant Solutions for a month, and then I joined Radisys as a software engineer. Right now, I work as an SD1 at Amazon. So I've done several projects in blockchain, machine learning, and Docker. And apart from the projects I did, I also did competitive programming after I graduated. I'll tell you more about what I did as an undergrad when I answer the questions. So, the first question that I got was how useful were the internships and how relevant is the tech stack you learned during internships? So, I did two major internships during undergrad. One was in blockchain, another one was in Docker. One was a research internship, another one was an industry internship. And after graduating, I did an internship in as a data science intern in Valiant Solutions. So right now I do not work in like whatever I worked in the internships. Right now I do not use any of the tech stack, but I like right now I work in Java. I use Java for backend, but I wouldn't say that the internships weren't relevant. I think they were very useful. So they help me provide work experience, and that you can use in your resume. It also helps you figure out what you like and what you don't like, and it helps you figure out your career options. So whether you want to go for higher studies or not, in what field do you want to do your higher studies, this all helps in that. And it most importantly, it helps you build connections. So you'll need them when you want to change your when you want to change after graduating. And also another thing is that you will get feedbacks after you do your internships, and that will help you in improving and tailoring your resume accordingly. So I think even though you might not work in those internships after you graduate, but they are pretty useful. And you should try to have as much experience as you can in your graduation. So the second question is competitive programming or interview based coding, which is helpful for placements. So I'll say ideally both of them are very useful, but if you have limited time, then please do interview based coding. If you are like in first or second year, then you can do both. So start what I did was I did not code much in my undergrad. I started coding after I graduated, and I did both competitive coding and interview based coding. So first of all, I completed all the questions on interview bit, and it's useful because you will have topic wise questions in interview bit, and I think that is also there in HackerRank or other sites. But what I did was I solved interview bit. Then after that I moved on to, because after that you will have some practice, so I moved on to lead code, and simultaneously I also did participated in contests. So I did over 600 questions on lead code, and I participated in almost all the contests that were happening then. And so in interviews you'll mostly get questions that have like that you have already seen, but there would be some questions that you might not have seen. So in those cases CP will help you. So competitive programming helps you increase your speed, and it will help you manage stress when a completely new question comes up, because then you will have to write a solution from scratch. And so this happened in one of the interviews that I gave. uh, so they initially I used to practice on like only those interview sites, and I did not do competitive programming. And when a completely new question was asked, so like I knew I could solve that in a maybe not in so much stress and when I had more time, but I could not solve that question in the interview. So after that, even when I did interview based coding, I started keeping the time, like whatever time I was solving in that in mind. And in CP you will anyways have to keep time in mind, because like that's a contest. And I think that will help you a lot when you give interviews. Also it will help you increase the speed with which you write the coding questions which you have already solved also. So and it'll help you write cleaner code, I think, because you'll have a lot of practice. So and also before any interview, I what I did was I tried to search the questions that have already been asked in that company on Geeks for Geeks or any other sites, and solved them specifically, because there are more chances that the repeated question might be asked. Like most of the questions that you will be asked would might be repeated. Some of them would be new. So just a minute. Okay. So the third question is converting intern into PPO. So I'd say that when you do an internship, try to fit in, try to have a good like relationship with the colleagues there, be professional, and communicate a lot with the mentors there and the manager. And most importantly, take feedbacks from your mentor and work on it, because mentor would be the one who will be giving feedback to HR, and he'll be the one who will decide whether your internship converts to PP or not. So keep on regular intervals, meet with your mentor and take feedbacks from him or her. Also be diligent in whatever work they have given, and try to finish the deadlines. So I don't like, yeah, that will, I guess, help in converting intern into PPO. The next question is industry expectations from undergrads. So this completely depends on your profile, on the profile of the job that you're applying for. If you're applying for an SD position, you should have good problem solving skills. You should be skilled in at least one language. Mostly Java is used in industries, but like that you can, that doesn't affect much. You can learn any other language, and after you get the job, you can learn Java. And you should have one or two very good projects that you can explain in a lot of detail, because they will ask cross questions and then you should be able to answer them. And if you are suppose applying for a job in data science, then you should have relevant projects related to data science, one or two relevant projects like that, and so on. So it mostly depends on the profile that you're applying for. So what you can do is you have seniors, so you know what companies would be coming in the next year when you have when you need to apply for internships. So see whatever profiles they have, what requirements they have, and decide initial, like right now, what would you want to apply for, and tailor your resume according to that. So do projects, suppose you want to apply in a data science profile, for a data science profile, so do projects in that. And if it's an SD profile, then please start competitive programming and interview based coding. So the next question is managing extracurricular activities and studies at the same time. So what I did was in first and second year I participated in a lot of extracurricular activities, and I did not manage studies as much. So in third year, I needed to prepare a lot for placements, and I could not manage the extracurricular activities then. But it can be easily managed throughout the college. You should if you start studying a bit from first and second year, if you manage your Cgpa, do good projects, then in third year you won't have to spend as much time for placements, and you can still manage extracurricular activities. Fourth year anyway you can participate as much as you want. So like one piece of advice that uh, for in first and second year, if you're in first and second year, so please concentrate on three things: maintain a decent Cgpa above 8 at least, and do competitive programming, do interview based coding, and also this will make your life easier in the third year, and you will be able to participate as much as you want. So, being a fresher, how should we prepare ourselves for future intern opportunities? I'm coming on to the next question. So, being a fresher, how should we prepare ourselves for future intern opportunities? And what should be our priorities in between the path? So, there are three things: competitive programming, that is coding, projects, and Cgpa. So, I'll say maintain a decent Cgpa so that you don't have to worry about it at all. Maintain at least above 8. In projects, at least have one or two very good projects that you can explain in a lot of details, and if and have some supporting projects, like some hackathons, etc., which are not maybe so much detailed, but like they support your profile. And in coding, start from try to maintain a friend circle or some people around you that participate in these contests, and help you that will help you build your skill in that. So also, whatever companies are coming on campus, that is fine, but also apply for all the opportunities offline, because and give as much as possible interviews, because that will help you build your confidence when you give interviews, and it will help you manage stress. You won't be scared as much. And keep going through LinkedIn, try to find out whatever positions are open, whatever your profile fits in, apply in that. And whenever you apply for any position or internship, try to apply with a referral wherever possible. Yeah, so try to apply with a referral wherever possible. And when you apply for a referral, keep these things in mind, that do not paste very long paragraphs on why that person should refer you, and do not write please refer me and just post your resume and that's it. You should write at least one or two lines about yourself, some background about yourself, and some achievements that are relevant to that position, like some good project or whatever you have worked on in one or two lines. And when you send out your resume, as much as possible, try to send out a Google Drive link, because and not a PDF, because a PDF they'll have to download. And yeah, so and then you can ask please refer me for this position. So that will help your chances of getting referred more than writing a single line please refer me or a paragraph. So and also many companies keep hiring challenges, so find out wherever you can apply. And this was something that specifically me, I did not know a lot, because we did not have many seniors, and we did not have any seniors. So that was something I was not aware of. And sometimes I miss those hiring challenges that had already happened, and maybe I could have cleared that. So when right now, if you're in first and second year, keep a list of all the challenges that might happen in the future, and keep applying there. So I have a question from Saurav, so I'll answer that before moving on. What is the most important thing to keep in mind when giving interview at Amazon? Please suggest some tips. Okay, so mostly in Amazon, they'll ask you coding questions, and you need to ideally you should answer all of them, because that will help your chances of getting in. So that is the process that I suggested. That try interview bit, Then try all the questions on, like try solving as much as possible on lead code, and try to solve, like search for Amazon tagged questions on Geeks for Geeks or wherever possible, and solve all those questions. Also they'll ask some questions, but that's not it depends on the interviewer actually. So some interviewers might ask more questions on theoretical topics like OS, DBMS, etc. Some might not at all, but you should be prepared. So what I'll say is, like, maintain try making what I did was I made Google sheets, and for each of the core subjects I listed out all the questions. Suppose there's a sheet for OS, so I listed out all the asked questions for OS and any notes that I wanted to make. And before interview I only read those notes and only went on those links, so that saved a lot of time, and it will be helpful for future interviews as well. So I made sheets for OS, DBMS, object oriented programming. Oops. Yeah, that's it. And because I had my machine learning project, so also in yeah, I can share the sheet if you want. So yeah, also for machine learning, and also they'll ask you in the further interviews, first and second, they'll mostly like prepare. So there's a star method that they follow. Suppose they ask a question that what was the most challenging task that you had in that you faced in undergrad, so in any project. So you should know the situation, you should answer the situation, task, whatever action you took, and what was the result, the star method. So explain the situation properly, then explain what was your task in that situation, whatever action you took in that, and as a result what happened. So like this is how they take notes, and that is how you should answer your questions as much as possible, the leadership questions that they ask. And they are important, they are really important in Amazon interview especially. So yeah, so the next question is, how difficult it is to change to a good company than present one. So I'll say that off campus or on campus, wherever you apply, the level of the interview is same. But it's relatively difficult getting to interview off campus because there's a bigger pool of people who are applying, and in on campus there's a smaller pool of people that are applying. So wherever possible, try applying with referral. Whatever company you're applying for, search for people who work there who might be ready to refer you. Send them a message like I had told earlier, and uh, also keep looking out for posts that are that people post that they are ready to give out referrals, and you should you should keep an eye out for them. And yeah, and keep applying, don't stop applying even if you are not getting even if you're not getting opportunities off campus, because you might get in future. So okay, the next question is, tips to get an off campus offer. What are the things required to be in CV to get shortlisted in off-campus job listings? And what hurdles you faced during off-campus job search, and how did you manage to overcome them? So I'll start out with tips to get an off-campus offer. Almost always apply with a referral, and the referral, don't send out a paragraph, or don't send out 1 or 2 lines, please refer me. Write some give them some good reason to refer you, and keep looking out for openings, and keep applying, especially on those people who post, especially that they are referring people. So message them especially. And also, if you're applying for an SD position, a good competitive programming profile will help for sure, and it will help you in interviews as well. So if you have good ranks in some contest, then you can mention that whatever your rank was in whatever contest, like that. And if you have a good rank in any of the if you have good rank in any of the code chef or code forces or whatever the sites, so mention that as well when you're asking for a referral. So yeah, so I guess the next question, required to be in CV to get shortlisted in off-campus job listings. So you should have 1 or 2 good projects, good internships, also some supporting projects, and relevant to that job that you're applying for. and if you have a good computer programming profile, that adds up. And try to like take part in hackathons, etc., because that also helps. So what hurdles did I face in off campus job search? So like it takes more time, because uh, like maybe you apply for a job even with a referral, and sometimes I still did not get a reply. So that will happen, but like ignore that and just keep applying. And try like all the time try improving your profile, so that it increases your chances of getting uh, an offer, sorry, a referral. So also, in hindsight, the next question is, in hindsight, what are some things you would have done differently in your college career, and things you wish you'd known earlier in general? So in first and second year, I did not concentrate much on Cgpa or coding. I would definitely go change that, because so in earlier sems I had a Cgpa around in two of the sems I had Cgpa above 7, and in later sems I had Cgpa close to 9. But like that did not really improve my Cgpa much, because to like if I had studied in the first and second year as well, then it would have been better. I would not have to work as hard in the later sems, and it's not really difficult to get a good Cgpa. I mean, you just need to be diligent. And yeah, so that's something. And coding, so like that I would have done every day. And we, so yeah, I guess that's it, because projects I had already done. So this is something that I would have improved, especially coding, like I'll underline coding. So to what extent Cgpa affects your chances to get shortlisted in off campus, and what is good enough Cgpa to get shortlisted? So above 8 is good. I didn't see any company with a cutoff over it. Most of the companies, especially the big ones, they don't even put 8 as cutoff. It is even lower than that. But it will matter if you want to apply for higher studies. So how much is the impact of extracurricular activities on placements or internships? Will they help us in interviews, and to what extent? To what extent? So it depends on the type of activity. So if it is relevant to the job you're applying for, it will have an impact. So extracurricular activities, like if you're participating in hackathons, then that will help. If you are doing competitive programming, then that will help. So even but if this is for an SD role, but other activities also like sports, etc., that helps you build confidence, but I don't think they have a lot of impact in interviews. They won't help your chances to get in much, like that's as much as I know. So I guess these were the questions that you had already asked, and now I'll take up the questions that are in the chat. So Cgpa really matters. So I guess I'll say that above 8, it is good enough. You like you're eligible to give interviews for almost all of the companies. And sometimes if you have a Cgpa greater than that, then like that's good. I mean, but it'll help you a lot in higher studies. So the prestigious tag of IITN, does this help in some way during your professional career and offline placement? So yeah, like the tag will help, because people, if they see your tag that you graduated from an IIT, I think they are more likely to give you a referral and even like getting shortlisted. Although if you but when you give an interview and you do not answer the questions properly, or you're not as good, so then that won't help, because it'll help you get in, but then you need to perform in the interviews. So how much difficult or easy to leave the company within 1 year? So I think it depends. You need to keep applying and keep looking out for opportunities if you have decided that you want to change your job. And it depends on when you get the chance actually. So I guess it's like it'll happen, but you need to be consistent in applying. So in what year you started competitive coding? So I did not, I like as I said, I did not code much in undergrad, but after I graduated, so as like my joining rate has shifted, I had a lot of time to concentrate on competitive coding. And I actually majorly concentrated on coding after I graduated, which is not a good thing. Like you should do it from the first year. And first 2 years are good enough to get very good at coding. So importance of uh, PORs and placement. What do you mean by PORs?
I think PORs refers to like the coordinator, like responsibilities of the club
Okay,
and position of
okay.
responsibility. Yeah.
So I guess that adds up into your resume, like, but majorly what helps is your work experience and what work experience and how you are giving that interview. So like PORs alone won't help you in your interview. It won't help you get shortlisted. But if you have it as an addition to an already good profile, it might help your chances because that shows that you have leadership skills. Do they place us in department of their choice? Will you please share which departments are you in at Amazon? So so when you are applying, I did not. So I did not get in when Amazon came in to our when Amazon came in on campus. But when I applied off campus, I was applying for a specific department only. So I was applying for the returns team, and so then after you like when you get in, when I got in Amazon, I need to work in returns team. But in future, if you want, you can do like you can transfer to another team. So when you transfer to another team, you will need to give. So it depends on the manager of the other team. He might ask you to give one or two interview, and I think it's easier than getting out from outside to Amazon. Like internal transfer are easier. So the next question is how to select problems from lead code if we have 3 months for placements. So if you have 3 months for placements, I'll suggest like try solving all the questions of interview bit because they have a curated list. And but if you have already solved lead interview bit and now you have 3 months more for placement, so I'll say that they have some lead code has some light questions, like most light questions, or they have two such lists. I've forgotten the name, but you can find that most liked questions and most asked questions in like lead code in companies. So I'll suggest solve those two lists because mostly they'll be asked, and that is what I did. I first solved those lists. So how did you manage to prepare for other jobs interview with working in Radisys? So like I had started coding in after I had graduated, and I joined Radisys in November. So I had a lot of time. Like I was coding from I think March or April, and yeah, so that becomes a habit. And like initially it's difficult, but after you get into the habit of coding, then it's not so difficult. So then you need to take out some time, and then like yeah, you need to manage both. I mean, it'll take up time, but yeah, I mean, you will have to somehow take out time. So how much difficult or easy to leave the company within 1 year? I think this has already been asked. So if you're a bit decent in coding already. So I guess this is in relation to the question, uh, the 3 months, how to select problems from lead code if you have 3 months for placements. So I'll suggest that lead code choose those two lists. And also like if you look up, if you search online, there are some, like some people have already prepared some Google Sheets in which they like they have given company specific questions. So like uh, in lead code you need premium membership to solve company uh, specific questions for a company, but you can search online. You will get the list of questions. Chances are that some of them would be in premium, like you'll require premium membership for them, but most of them you can solve like without premium also. So I suggest like, so what, suppose you want to apply for Amazon, so search lead code question, most asked lead code questions on in Amazon, and you'll get the list like 100 or 200 questions, so you can solve for that company, or like you can manage accordingly that way. So, can an SD employee help in giving referral to someone who is interested in data science related roles? I think yes. An SD employee can help you get referral in any team if there are openings in that team. Question: in top companies like Amazon, people join as software developers and handle the coding part. However, after 3-4 years, people change to management roles. Why does this happen? And are there people who continue in the software part? So yes, there are definitely people who continue in the software part. There are a lot of senior people in the software part as well, and who have 6 years experience or more. And I think it's mostly a personal choice that people shift to management roles, and it depends on. So right now I've just started working, and right now I'm figuring out whether right now I'm very happy working as an SD, but that's something everyone figures out personally what they really want. They want to work in management roles or SD part, and I don't think people mostly change to management roles. Yeah, some people do. So how did you perform well in internships without good experience in your UG? So the internship, so okay, I did not have a lot of experience in competitive coding, but I did have some experience on coding. I mean, it was not negligible. And the company I applied to was Robert Bosch. It mostly asked questions. You should have good projects to get that internship, and I did have one aspect that I was good was I did have good projects. So I think that helped me. So it was it was a security kind of internship role, and I had projects in blockchain and crypto. So I think that helped my chances of getting in. And there were some questions asked, but that much I was able to answer, but not, I don't have a lot of experience, but still decent. I think I've covered all the questions.
Uh,
Yeah,
So
we are having one
uh,
or two more questions.
we have some
So
questions regarding.
uh, this is regarding, since we know that due to this COVID situation, first year the freshers are not been to the campus yet, and so what do you think can be done by them in these time, which will help them to build a good profile? Actually, the scene of first year guys is that they have completed their one semester without any coding subject, and now they are having a break of 3 months, and they are having a tentative semester two starting from June. So,
okay.
according to you, what they can do in this vacation period?
So I'll suggest that you start out with interview bit questions. So so you have so that have they had introduction to programming and data structures course, or nothing at all
No,
till now?
no, no programming course. They just have the theory courses of linear algebra, probability, and
Okay.
stuff like that.
So I'll suggest that you can start up from basics. So there are a lot of resources online. You can go to tutorials point, or maybe you can start out with Geeks for Geeks, learn the basic syntax, and so you can also you can contact your seniors. They might be having some programming assignments in introduction to programming etc, and maybe they can help you get those links, the assignments, and you can try solving on their own on your own. And anyways, introduction to programming etc, even if it's taught, you learn it on your own. So even data structures similarly. So even if that course would have started, you would have learned it on your own. So you can do it yourself as well now. Take the assignment, take help of your seniors, take the assignments from them, learn the basic syntax, and do those assignments. Maybe have someone check, maybe have someone give feedbacks on that. Maybe contact your seniors, take help from them, and yeah. And once you are good with those assignments that were there in introduction to programming course, you can jump on to you can self teach yourself. uh, then you can jump on to Geeks for Geeks etc, and I think there are a lot of resources online, so you can learn it on your own as well. So yeah, that will be my suggestion.
Okay. Um, I have a certain question related to Amazon. Like in these COVID times, how has the working environment of Amazon changed for the SD developers, and how are they keeping up with these times in which people are not able to work efficiently and are stressed, and with all the mental health issues that they're facing? So how
Okay.
is Amazon coping up with this?
So earlier, it was like till January, February, it was not such a bad situation in COVID. It was kind of like it was not really normal, but things were getting back to normal. But from March and April, as the cases have surged, so even like Amazon has, it is providing holidays on Fridays. So this Friday I had an off, and third Friday also I have an off, and like they are trying to lessen the burden. Even the sprint tasks that people have, they are trying to lessen the burden then. And like even the managers are telling that kind of take it a little easy right now. Yeah, so I think they're just trying to lessen the burden right now because of the condition, like COVID situation right now.
Okay,
So the
okay.
next question is,
And since due to this COVID situation, we have been missing on our campus life uh, for almost more over a year now. So, how important to you is the campus life, and how does it prepare you for the professional world out there that you are facing right now, and how does it help? What are the
so I think
experiences?
like campus life was the best time, but and like yeah, I guess, I mean, I guess you could start like getting in touch with your peers uh, online, maybe like video chat, organize a video chat with them or something. But yeah, I guess campus life is irreplaceable. But okay, can you repeat your question?
Okay, how does it help you in the professional world right now, like the experiences gained in the college life and all that?
I guess you learn how to uh, how to adjust, how to be more patient, and how like it actually makes you more confident in general, because in 11th 12th when people come, we are like really nerdy, so that helps. But since it's not there, so you can still organize video chats and maybe get in touch with them. So it will not replicate the exact environment in campus, but it will still help you somewhat, I guess. So I have some questions, I'll answer them on the chat.
Okay.
So how did you perform well in internships without good coding experience in your, no, that is something I've already answered. How to be motivated while doing CP, how to be consistent. So yeah, that's something very difficult. So because in CP, when you initially start, you do not get all the like it's really difficult in the beginning, because you have to maintain the consistency even though you wouldn't be doing very good. But I guess so set up a schedule for yourself. So like when you're starting out, you'll at least do 2 or 3 questions daily. So like start out with 2 or 3 questions, then you can when you are getting more interested, and when you'll be able to solve more questions, when you'll be able, when you'll get better at writing the code, then interest would like develop by itself, and you'll want, then you can increase the number of questions that you do in a day. So like start out slow, but but be consistent. Even though if you decide even to do 1 question per day, so stick to it. And I guess that's something. And like if you start out with 10 to 15 questions you've decided to do in one day, then like there are a lot of chances that you won't continue. So start out slow, I guess. What can be the year-wise aim for the freshers to get placed easily at the end of BTech program? I'll say in the first year, just concentrate on coding, do a lot of coding, solve a lot of questions, and participate in contests. In the second year, try to do at least 1 or 2 good projects, and you'll be and still participate in contests and try solving these interview bit questions, etc. In the third year, you'll anyways have to uh, yeah, and also do study for the courses, etc. But it's not like it doesn't require a lot of effort to get a decent Cgpa. So but like yeah, that's something you should concentrate on as well. And in third year, you'll have a lot of pressure because internships, like, they'll be like, you'll have interviews anyways. So then you will just prepare for those. Also in second year, like, you have seniors, you know that what companies are coming to campus. So take in, like, whatever companies are coming, take in note what are their, like, what are the requirements, and try, like, tailoring your preparation and your resume according to what companies you want to apply at the end. That will help. And also in second year, like, just keep in mind what are the challenges or contests happening, and apply in all of them, I guess. I mean, it's good to give interview, even whatever the case, you want to join in or not, please do give interviews as much as possible. In third year, you'll anyways have to study, and in fourth year, like, I guess, yeah, I mean, the same, you can do the same thing, but fourth year is mostly, you'll have time to enjoy. So does Amazon care about projects development if I'm good in DSA and CP? Yeah, they do. So if you so in the first or second interviews, they'll mostly ask questions on DSA and CP, but in the third and fourth questions, they will ask you questions on leadership skills as well as your project. And in project, they will ask you, like, in one of the interviews, they'll ask you a lot of cross questions for that. So, like, at least you should have one interview, like, one project wherein you can answer in detail, and it's really good. Also, whatever you write in your resume, like, you should be able to speak on every project, for at least prepare that beforehand to speak at least for 10 minutes for every project. Because maybe there's some project that you are very well prepared for, but they are not asking that. Mostly they will ask you to choose, but someone might ask some other project, so be prepared for that too. So, tips to prepare resume for getting shortlisted in off-campus job listings. So, I'll suggest, don't make it a don't make it very long. Uh, have one or two good projects. Have good work experience. List out some internships that you work for, and be ready to speak about them for at least each of those things for at least 10 minutes. And don't write in skills and technologies, like, things that you do not maybe you've just worked for one course and you're not really well versed in that. Because if in some interview they ask you, suppose you have written about, I guess, Hadoop, and and you just had one or two classes, and that was the experience, and you still wrote it in your resume. If they ask you and they notice that you don't really know about it, and that will look very bad. So it's good to not write extra than to write something that you don't know. And uh, yeah, I guess, write out your, suppose if you are good at computer programming, so write out your, like, some good ranks that you might have. And yeah, I guess. So is DP important for placement? Were there any questions on Amazon rounds? Yes, there were questions on Amazon rounds. So all those topics that are there, uh, like, if you open interview bit, you will notice that they have divided the questions in buckets. All of those buckets are important. The questions can be asked from any of those buckets. So yeah, I guess everything is important. I guess that were all the questions. Are there any more questions? No, another one. What hurdles you faced during off-campus job search, and how did you manage to overcome them? So mostly the hurdle, like, I've answered this already, but mostly the hurdle that I faced was that it's difficult to get the interview than to clear the interview, because interview level would be same in on campus and off campus, but it's difficult to get the interview. But you need to consistently apply, and you need to consistently look out for openings. And, like, even if you are not getting it for a while, then don't give up. And yeah, I guess that's it. So I just now completed second year. I haven't done coding and don't have good projects also. What can I do to prepare in an year for placements? So I guess you you still have some one semester before the internship start. So you can do contact get in touch with any professor. If they have any project, then like, try to do it with them. also you can make a team and participate in hackathon, etc. And you can also do search online and like some projects that can be done in third year, and you can do projects yourself as well. Sorry. And I haven't done coding, so coding now you can so maybe since you don't have a lot of time, you can start out with even on Geeks for Geeks they have some questions that are must like they have a list that must do questions for interviews, and they are lesser than an interview bit, so you can start out with them as well. And so when if you have more time after that, when you have completed one good project and those questions, then you can maybe start with interview bit, which was the most hectic year academics wise, so it was mostly third year. The questions are now repeating. We can conclude the session now. Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, just one more last question. This is for the seniors, the students that are going in fourth year. So, according to you, in which topic they should have their topics they should have on their fingertips for the interview, and how should they proceed for all these things?
So what did you say in the beginning? Can you repeat that? In what year?
They are just shifting to final year, the fourth year. The students that are shifting to fourth year now.
So and you're preparing for placements.
Yeah.
So you should have basic knowledge of object oriented programming, DBMS, OS, and OS, DBMS. I'm forgetting something. Like most of the core subjects you should have like really good knowledge about them. Suppose you have a project in blockchain, or suppose you have a project in machine learning, so then you should also know basic questions on those topics. And I'll suggest making sheets. I mean, it's easier to look up. And also the basic coding questions. So I guess coding, core subjects, and the projects that you need to prepare, these three things.
Okay, so thank you for sharing your wonderful experiences with us. I hope all of us present here have learned one thing or another. Okay, so I would thank everyone for attending this event, and especially our alumni, Neha Jain, for sparing time from our busy schedule. Student Alumni Cell looks forward to holding more of these sessions and talks to connect with our alumni who are in various fields and learn from them. We would like everyone, if they can, just please open their camera and we'll take a screenshot, since this is the first edition of Alumni Masterclass. So if you can do this, it will be really helpful.
Yeah. I request everyone to please open up their camera. Let's have a memorable screenshot.
Okay. Yes. Just a second. It's some network issue from my side. Just a second. Yeah. Oops. Fine, I guess. Okay. So again, I request everyone stay inside, stay safe, get vaccinated, and thanks for attending the session.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks
Stay
a lot,
safe.
everyone.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And stay connected, stay tuned. We will come with more alumni from Google and Goldman Sachs. And stay with your questions. And yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone.